You are listening to The Ben Keech Show, where every day the objective is simple. Ben will never stop fighting the fight and lighting the light on topics that affect you every day.
How in the world are you guys doing? My name is Ben Keech. This is The Ben Keech Show, and I am grateful and thankful that you are here tonight. I'm wearing a shirt of one of my favorite, Brendan James. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to his music. He's amazing. I can't wait till I get to see him in concert again. Goodness, so much stuff going on. I mean, the Royals are kind of doing decent. Kansas City, though, spring, it's great weather. Lots and lots of good things are happening. I hope good things are happening for you as well. Gosh, where do we go? We are in the middle of kind of a little series, and episode 46 was the early years, childhood, decisions that were made that changed the course of my life and many others. Last time we talked more about my journey as a parent and a little bit as a husband and as a teacher and my missions and goals in life and what matters and what doesn't matter. And life was easy, and then all of a sudden life sucked, and just all and the reasons why a little bit. Episode 48, the title is My Sherwood Forest. So I love Robin Hood. So when I think of the Sherwood Forest, here's what I think about. Like as a kid, like watching the movies, reading the books, things like that. It just seemed like sometimes this very ominous place, dark, big trees, a little scary, good guys, bad guys. But it also was fun. I mean, that's where like Robin Hood and his merry band of bandits? I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's where they lived. And it seemed like a pretty cool place. And there were rebels against the system, and anyway, against the evil king, and just all this stuff. And so episode 48, the time period that we're looking at now, is really the last 5 years of my life. And the last 5 years of my life would be after my divorce and then what's happened since. So we had the teaching side, we had more than athletes, we had I started up a lawn company, which I'm still running. What's my purpose? Now there's family things I'm working on, a marriage that fell apart. Like, where am I going? What am I doing? Maybe this is what they call a midlife crisis. I just don't have enough money to buy the fancy red sports car, so what the heck am I supposed to do? And that's what leads me up until today. I had, the marriage, your friendships can change with people that you knew before. Like everything was out of whack. My kids were amazing. We had to refigure out some stuff though. There's always going to be some ups and downs in figuring out your new world after, as I'm, at this point now in my mid 40s and just trying to figure out, what do I do? Well, I knew what I was going to do. Actually, I had it all planned out. I was going to do what I said I was going to do at 18. You see, at 18, my goal, get married, have kids. That's what I wanted to do. Number one in my life was that. I'm going to go to college, going to provide, going to get married, have a family, live happily ever after. Now what do I do? Okay, well, that's simple. Just going to get married again. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. I literally, on the Tuesday, still one of the toughest days of my life, on the Tuesday that I left my house and moved in with my brother, within 10 minutes was on a dating site. I'm finding her. Like, my wife, this is like dedicated Ben, going after what he wants. That's what I wanted. I wanted to get remarried. I understand some of you are like, this dude is flipping crazy. Like, why in the world would you want? Like, a lot of people don't even ever want to get married again. And I get it. And a lot of, like, what? I don't know. This was just how I was wired. This is how I looked at things. I wanted that security. I wanted that life. That was the pinnacle of success was her. I mean, I had songs that made me think about it. I would share these visions with women that I would date. And sometimes I would get people's hopes up and I would get my hopes up. But here I am, single as heck and not married. And so what what has happened? What's been the purpose of all of this? Oh my goodness, have I learned a lot. I'm going to share some of that stuff with you, especially for some of those people that are going through what I'm going through or have gone through this. And again, why did I start a coaching business? Was for this. Like, there are men, like, this isn't easy. Like what, like, it really isn't. I've got friends that go through it. I've got, it's tough to, you're at a point in your life where it's like, yeah, I see the end. I'm getting older, not getting younger. I see that. I feel it. I get it. We may say we want to live forever. We're not. We're all dying. We can't get away from that. So what does that look like? What do I do? How am I supposed to live? I mean, I'm probably getting fatter. I'm probably getting balder. I'm probably getting like what? Like what? And that's where I was at. But I had a mission. I was going to find her. That's what I told myself. And that's how I dated. Extremely intentional. And once I realized, not a wife, done. Nope. I didn't say it like that. Nope. That's how I viewed it. I still know how many, I know how many first dates I've been, as of today. I'll get to that. I can tell you I've been on 91 first dates. I've had multiple relationships. And you're like, oh my gosh, this life. I mean, my ex makes fun of me all the time. She's like, flipping chaotic. I mean, she's had like two dates, two boyfriends, like simple, content, peaceful. And here I am like all over the flipping place. Okay. So what's going on? Well, what I learned was that I took my mentality of dating. You got to understand, I grew up, that little house on the prairie, pretty conservative, like little, Theodore and Wally Cleaver, like opening up doors for women, respectful, caring, very traditional, not trying to take advantage, not trying to do this, just I'm going to be a good little Boy Scout, all those things, right? So now I'm going into dating in a completely different society, lots of different women, different mentalities toward this, and I'm going to figure it out. First thing that I would say is I have, in the last 5 years, if I take the adults that I met, I can say women, it doesn't even have to be women. Most of the people I've met in the last 5 years that I've developed a close relationship with have been women. I'm going to come back to that later as well. But in the last 5 years, the people that I've met, that I'm still close to, that I'm still friends with, even the people that I don't talk to anymore, outweigh my friendships and the people that I knew in my life as adults in my first 45 years of my life, 46 years of my life. And it's not even close. So I'm going to say that again. The people that I've met, mostly women, in the last 5 years since my divorce are literally by far I'm closer to, I have better relationships with. They know me, I know them. Like, I have had an amazing experience in simply getting to know people. That's been a massive plus. Now think about it. If I went on a dating site to find my wife. So what should have happened was, once you're not going to be my wife, then move on, forgot your name, and now it's next. And now it's next. But I had a different mentality as well. My objective it was kind of like the teaching side of it, a little bit like this component. My objective wasn't always, as it evolved, wasn't always married or bust. What it became, what I realized, there are so many single people in Kansas City and probably around the flipping country that think like this. Sometimes we just want good people in our lives. I actually think over time, dating apps are going to get a little bit phased out by groups of people in given cities that just do social events together. You can meet guys, you can meet girls. It doesn't have to be high intensity, marriage or bust. It can just be simply a place to develop friendship. I think that's the trend on where all of these things are going, because people want to meet people authentically. And what happened on my journey was I met people and they stuck. They didn't leave my life. Their objective wasn't necessarily marriage or anything. Now, some people they did. They've gotten married, and people who I've dated, people who I've cared for, have found their person, if you will. But not everybody, guess what? Not everyone's going to find their person. It's not a rite of passage. Every single person who lives has to get married again and find. That doesn't happen. Some people never get married again by choice or not by choice. And my lesson that I learned is, how about I live my life in a way that tries to just be a good person, give something back to them, develop some type of an honest place for communication and going through life together. We need people. The problem that we see in dating, especially at say 40s, 50s plus, is that it's all about getting. I'm going to get my wife. I'm going to get sex if that's what they want. I'm going to do this until I don't want this. It's not very user friendly. It's very user unfriendly. And I didn't want to be like that. And I'm not saying that I've been perfect by any means in the last 5 years, but what I will tell you is there are people who I love and care for and do anything for them, because I realize and I've learned the value of loyalty. How often do we talk about loyalty in the same context of dating? It seems like there's a bunch of users out there, people who are selfish, people who are taking advantage. I don't believe that's the case. It's definitely not the case about all women, for sure. I've already experienced that. And it's not the case about men too. I don't speak to that because I haven't been on a dating app to date men yet, so I don't know. So if I ever do that, I'll be sure to let everybody know. We can all have fun with that one. Anyway, back to the story. But here's the other thing that I've learned. The other thing that I've learned. My dog's barking. You're okay, Millie. Yeah, I know. There's people outside. It's probably someone wanting to go on a date with me or something. I don't really know. I'm just kidding. That's not true. There you go. My daughter's there you go. Bye, Millie. Okay, back to the show. Thank you for sticking with us. What I found is that I've almost kind of sometimes felt this like pull between my desire to get married. It's lessened all the way to this place where it's like I said in a couple episodes ago, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like I've realized that my life, it's been such an interesting journey that what makes me happy. I remember I have a very good friend of mine, and I'll never forget this conversation. Her name is Tammy. We were going on a walk. That's kind of what we did. We go on walks, and we're going on this walk, and I'm telling her that my life cannot be complete unless I find my wife. And I explained to her why. I had like my visual charts of like there's a pie, and she's a piece of the pie, and if I don't have like that, then my life is incomplete. And I'm going, and she's like, yeah. She's saying her piece, and I'm just whatever. Came back a few months later. I was like, gosh, I was so wrong. I was, but it's tough because it's something that we want. You want the travel partner, you want the companion, you want the person you love and trust. I have that. I already have all of that. Now, it may look a little bit unorthodox because I do travel and I have friends and I have a social life and I have people I love and I have people I care about. And will I get married again someday? If that's what happens, if that's the Lord's will, then that will happen. But it's okay if it doesn't. And what's more important to me are the people that I have chosen to invest my life in, and people that I have, even people who I don't talk to anymore, even people who over the last 5 years I have said the words, I love you, I care about you, I would do anything for you. It didn't end in marriage. It may not even be our path right now together. And here's the interesting thing I've kind of discovered about myself. And this is just honestly in the last week. I've had some conversations about this. What I discovered about myself was that these connections and these relationships with people, like, let's just talk about people that haven't spoken with in a while. And man, I miss them, or I want to still like have conversations with. I want to know how they're doing. And for different reasons, it's best that we go our separate ways, but it's difficult. And I'm like, what I found about myself is that I hold on. I don't know if anybody else has this kind of like dynamic. I'm learning this literally as I'm talking to you guys right now. So if you guys relate to this, let me know. I really honestly would be curious. And I've gone to a couple really close friends and had some conversations about this. But I hold on to those moments. I hold on to people from my past. The only people I discard are people that burn me, are people that did something to me where I'm like, done. Like sometimes you just have to cut people off. But a lot of times the people that we've gone separate ways was for natural reasons, nothing wrong. And what I'm realizing over the last 5 years, if I could summarize my story, is that I have like this piece of so many different people I've loved, people I've cared about. I know that they're kids. And sometimes it's tough for me to separate in that way. And I've wondered if something was wrong with me. I've wondered, like, why do you hold on to these things? And then I was having a conversation with a friend, and the conversation, we were talking about things with my mom and her death and different things, and how I became, at least in my mind, not the only person, but I became kind of a defender of my mom, a voice for my mom, a protector of her legacy. And even like I said a couple episodes ago, that I was going to keep a very soft place in my heart. Like there's a very, very like tender place that always was going to be like that. I was never going to kind of harden over and just be, I was never going to be casual about that. And so with that, what happened was I then have started to do the same thing in the last 5 years with different people. And I'm like, is this wrong? Is this okay? And I was talking with a friend about this idea, and she actually kind of brought it up, and then I just thought it was funny, and I'm like literally going to do this someday. What I want to do is I want to create a mural. I want to hire somebody. So if you know someone who paints, draws, does anything like this, I want to hire somebody, and I think I want it to be kind of a movable thing. And think about this as an idea for like, this is just like an idea. I think it's a really cool idea. Excuse me. But I want this to be massive. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to kind of brainstorm and create my own mural with some letters, words, pictures, scenes, just different things of my life. And you're going to look at it and you're like, well, what is this? What is this? What is this? And there's all sorts of, because I'm big in symbolism, and I'm big in I'm kind of probably a potential pack rat, because if something's sentimental to me, I hang on to it. I keep it. I love it. And I want to create my own for my life, for all of the people that I've loved and cared about, moments, family, friends, males, females, people who I've dated, people who I've loved, people who I've proposed to that I'm not married to, which is another whole story for another episode. But I'm going to make something that's for me. Now, the problem with this, as I get married, my wife's going to be like, what the heck? What, you got this? What's this mean? Well, that was this one girl's like, anyway, so I don't know. I better make it if I do get remarried, I better make it first. She may not like it. But then I'm also thinking, I was telling my daughter, I'm like, well, if she's going to marry me, you're going to have to get all of it. And I feel like I'm always going to be a guy that's going to have lots of friends. So come along for the ride if that happens. But if it doesn't, then I'm just going to keep doing the things I'm doing. I'm going to travel around this country. I'm going to write books. I'm going to do this. Like, this is my life. Like, these are the things I'm going to do. And I've been so empowered in the last 5 years for not changing my goal. It's not about finding my wife. It's about finding my life. It's about living my destiny to the best that I can be, and allow whoever comes in it, whoever's going to be around, whoever wants to take part in the fun, come on board. It's good. That's now my mission. And boy, what a peaceful place that is. What an inspiring place that is for me. And I'm just thankful that this realization has kind of finally taken hold. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Again, my Sherwood Forest. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes I can't see 2 feet in front of me, but it's my life. And it's been such a journey in the last 5 years, and I can't wait for the next 5. Thanks for tuning in, folks. This was episode 48. Subscribe. Give me reviews, especially if you like it, especially if there's good. I need those things. Talk to you soon. Love you guys. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. You can reach out on Ben's website, www.benkeechshow.com, or on social media to chat. And please remember to subscribe so that you never miss an episode.